So next week is going to be cold, so the range will be slightly lower, but I also have to find the fast charger and make sure it's not an AC charger but a DC charger. If I switch on the aircon or the heat, then it's going to reduce my range slightly by 5 kilometers. I have to account for that also. Oh, hello. Yeah, I was just sort of planning out a trip that I intend to take in this new Kona EV, but it still promises to be practical and fun. But the main question is it a perfect entry point into the electric driving world? Well, in today's video, we're going to be finding out everything in detail about this new Hyundai Kona EV. So this new Hyundai Kona EV is offered in one single trim, which is preferred, but there is an optional package available with this car, which is called as the ultimate package, and this particular variant comes with that. So it's more like a top trim level that's been offered on this one. So in terms of the looks, if you notice, it's compared to the standard Kona, there is like a bit of change to the front. Basically the big grille that's missing from the front, because EVs don't need that big grille. So it's also to make it aerodynamically efficient. So it's very roundish design out here, and the charging port is provided out here. So it's got the ability of level 2 and level 3, which is AC and DC charging, so you can remove them, and also the charge level is displayed here. And going to come to the battery pack and everything in a bit. So yeah, this is conveniently located in the front, and then this grill at the bottom, because there is a radiator, it's required for cooling, and also this comes with the battery conditioning. So in case it's cold weather and you want to charge the car, so it would warm up the battery so that it's just ready to accept the charge. And out here on the top, you would notice this LED DRL that's been provided on the top side, this Hyundai badging, and these headlights that sit on the lower level. Now there is one problem that I've realized, and that is that these headlights form part of this bumper, and if you look at it from the top, you see the extend, and then the thing is, if someone scrapes it, you might crack these headlights, and then you might want to just entirely replace them. You will have to, but if it was just like a regular bumper, it would just be a scrape and then you can fix that. So yeah, this might become an expensive affair if someone knocks them out. So the headlights are a mixture of turn signals, and on the top the main headlight cluster, which is in LED. The turn signals are also in LED, and even on the other side, let me show you, and it's also got the design of this, the continuation from the bumper itself. So it's got the curves and everything right out there. There is also one camera for the active and the passive safety systems, and underneath this sits one electric motor and 64.8 kilowatt hour of battery pack. And if you're wondering, there will be space in the front, which is a frunk. You are right, because it does come with that, but not a big space like that. The best part is it's got these struts, so you don't have to hold them. Now you open this and there is like a small storage out here. Maybe you can put your charging cable into this, because it does come with the portable charger also. So yeah, you can put them in here. Now on the sides there are 17-inch aluminum wheels, and the thing is that the design, I'm not a huge fan of these ones, but I get it because it's an EV, it has to be efficient. They are dual tone, and there's also a 19-inch option that's available, but yeah, it might, you know, hamper with the ride quality. And there's also this black color glossy skirtings on the side. And in terms of the shape, I find it's a mixture of a few models. So if you look at the arches and everything, the design from the side profile, it looks like a Tucson, like the aggressive, you know, angles and everything. But from the top side, if you look at this design, it looks like a Kia EV6, like this particular bit out here for sure. And there's also this silver color strip that continues on the bottom side of these windows and goes till the back. There are also roof rails and also a standard sunroof provided. In terms of the doors, these are the keyless entry doors, but only the front ones. And when we come to these side mirrors, these are body colored side mirrors and normal plastic at the bottom. They are non-power foldable, power adjustable. They have the blind spot warning on the inside, and also a camera from the 360-degree camera system and a turn signal also. But there is also something called as the blind spot view monitor. So these cameras on either side, when you are going to be turning, then they would show you the feed inside the driver's display on the cluster itself on both the dials, so they would show you the respective feed. So as a part of the ultimate package, there are 360-degree cameras, which is also the surround view monitor, and this blind spot view monitor that's provided as an as a part of the package. There is also something called as the smart parking assist, and for that I need to show you the key first. So we need to switch on the car by pressing the lock button, and make sure you are closer to the car twice, and then we start basically the car itself. And because this is an EV, there won't be any sound. And now you can move the car. Let's say you're in a tighter parking spot where you cannot open the door, then you press this forward button and the car would start rolling forward. Yep, it's that easy. And then press the reverse and put it back into the parking spot also. Yeah, this one comes in very handy. This one I see is quite a useful feature that can be used. Now, as I mentioned, there is a 64.8 kilowatt hour battery pack that's situated at the bottom. And in terms of the power, so the motor in the front produces 201 horsepower and 188 pound-feet of torque. So it's just the front wheel drive, and it's better because it's much more efficient that way. Now in terms of the range, so the claimed range when it's fully charged is 420 kilometers, but I have been getting closer to like 485, 490 kilometers, and sometimes if the conditions are right, the weather is perfect, then yes, you can go beyond 500, 520 also, as it is showing on the inside. Once I go inside, I'm going to show you from the infotainment screen when you set the charging limits up till 100%. Now in terms of the charging speed, so when you connect this to a level 2 charger, which is an AC charger, it would take about 6 hours, and if you connect it to a level 3, which is a DC charger, and it can charge at a maximum rate of 100 kilowatts. So at that speed, it will charge in approximately 43 minutes. And again, all these timings are variable because it depends on the weather also. So if it's like cold, that's why there is the preconditioning of battery that is also available. Let's move into the back. So there's this LED bar again on the top side also, which goes from one end to the other, the Hyundai Kona badging and the electric badging out here. And again, even in the rear, if you notice these tail lights, they extend into the side profile, and yeah, even if someone dings them, then again you might be looking at an expensive cost that way. So the tail lights again are the LED tail lights that are provided, and at the bottom there is this glossy plastic, and underneath that there is the body colored bumper, and there is also the plate that covers the underside of the body to make it again aerodynamically efficient. And as I said, this is also like a spoiler on the top, silver color, that continues from the side. And in terms of the visibility, now the visibility is actually higher to medium level, mid level, but the thing is that the headrests are the 3 headrests. The middle headrest is actually poking out, so there are like no passengers also. You might want to remove that headrest because it actually consumes the bit of visibility from the rear view mirror. Now when we come to the trunk space, in order to open, press this button and open the trunk. Now there are also scuff plates provided in the back so that you don't damage your bumper. Now there's also this trunk separator which can be removed, but there is no dedicated place for that. It's actually fairly simple to just remove it and then just put it down. Now when the rear seats are folded up, then you can put 25.5 cubic feet or 723 liters of luggage in the back, which is pretty respective. It's pretty tiny that way, and the thing is, because the batteries consume the space, but it's still usable and functional one. And the rear seats are foldable in a ratio of 60:40, and there are also tying points, trunk lights provided in the rear, and underneath the trunk floor sits the charger as well as the tire repair kit it's been provided on this one. Now in order to fold down the rear seats, so you pull this lever and then push the seats down, and when the rear seats are folded down, you can put 63.7 cubic feet of luggage or 1803 liters of luggage, which is again very useful for an EV, a compact SUV, and it's still a usable one. So considering that, it's not too bad. There are just these thick arches on either side that consume a little bit of space, and also the floor itself is flat and even, so it's going to be easier to slide the luggage in and out. Let's close this and jump into the interior and check it out. So in the door cards, again, soft touch material on the top, and then it's a bit plain looking door cards, and also the interior color, because it's just black, like complete black interior. And even on the side face, there's soft touch material where you're going to be resting hands. That's again soft material. I wish this was slightly on the longer side, because when you're resting your hands, it tends to go inside this, which is a bit annoying sometimes. Normal plastic here, but good quality plastic. Bottom side, again normal plastic. On the inside, there are two screens, big ones, and then check out the interior itself. Now on the interior itself, there is this brushed aluminum plastic surrounds around these buttons. Even out here, the same material. On the top face of the dashboard, it's not very soft touch material, it's more plastic ones that's been provided. And then these two screens, let me switch on the EV, and you are greeted to two screens, and they are almost like a curve, but there is this abrupt angle out here which makes it into like two angular displays, and this infotainment screen is slightly angled towards the driver also. Now there's a 12.3-inch driver's display, 12.3-inch infotainment screen, this leather covered steering wheel. Out here there's like normal plastic on the side face, and then this openness out here, because the gear shifter is like a column shifter mounted on the right side. And then yeah, more normal plastic out here. Now the glove box, normal plastic. This storage out here where you can put your phones, and when you're going to be resting hands, that's soft material, but I wish it was slightly more softer material. And then these seats again are the black colored leather seats, and there are also mood lights provided. Yes, mood lights out here and in the door cards, in the footwell, and all that can be changed from inside this infotainment screen. Going to the vehicle, there are 64 different light options available. So you go into the lights, ambient lights, brightness, and then the colors, fixed ones, and also the different colors that you can select. Now when we come to the driver's display, so there is a 12.3-inch digital driver's display provided on this Kona EV, and in terms of the functionality, very similar to the Hyundai's, Kias, and you can change the theme of this cluster itself. So in order to do that, we go into the setting, and then there is something called as the cluster option, where you go into the cluster theme selection, and then the gauge style, which is this, and then you can change to modern, classic, and then style A, style B, style C, or link it to the drive mode. Let me show you again. Simple. This is modern, classic, and then this is style A, style B, and style C, which is more sportier displays provided. Now I like the simple one because it's just easy to understand while on the move. And in the middle, there is information that can be changed using the buttons and the scroller dial provided on the left side. So the first option is the compass, then the next option is the driver assistance. So you long press and hold by pressing this button, and then the driver assistant shows up, the safety systems. And then we go to the next option, which is the current trip information or the trip information, then the after charging information since last reset, range, and then the tire pressure, and that's about it. That's how you can scroll through different options on this. But yeah, very simple and easy to understand. When we come to the steering wheel, so this is a round leather covered steering wheel with buttons provided on either side, and this Hyundai badging in Morse code. There are also paddle shifters provided in the back, but these are not for changing gears, but it's to change the level of regeneration of the energy. So basically when you brake, it's how aggressive you want it to be. So you can have it till level 3, and you can even go down to like, sorry, go down from here
Turn
to,
Bluetooth on in your mobile device in order to.
so you can go down and go to level 0 where it will be completely 0 regen happening. But yeah, you can nearly drive as a one pedal system also, which is the I pedal system provided on this. It works very well if you can just understand that. It takes a little longer, but once you understand, it's a very easy to use system, and you don't even need to use the brakes. It's that simple. And there are buttons provided on the right side for the media controls, as well as the mode, star, and also a star button out here, and you long press and then you can change everything from here. This has been customized to show you the Android Auto, Apple CarPlay connectivity. But here you can see all these different options that you can scroll through. So many different options that you can assign to these buttons, even the steering wheel button and the volume knob also, that can be changed from here. And on the left side, there are buttons provided for the adaptive cruise control, as well as the lane keep assist and the piloting assist. And the steering wheel is manually adjustable, which is tilt and telescopic. Now when we come to the air conditioning, so you get dual zone air conditioning system on this Kona EV, and in terms of the operation, it's fairly simple. Switch it on, and the thing is that the air conditioning itself affects the range a few kilometers. So let me switch it off, and you can see the range go up to 210, and if I switch it on, the range goes to 202, so about 5-7 kilometers. Not just that, if I increase the fan speed, it reduces the range. You see that it keeps reducing the range. And if I lower the temperature, again, every 1 degree it, or 1.5 or 2 degrees, it reduces by 1 kilometers. So yeah, that's also something to keep in mind while using these cars. And the there is another option, which is just the driver only option, where it switches on the driver side of air conditioning. That's about it. So yeah, in order to save the energy, you can do that. And there are switches provided out here to change the temperature and the fan speed, and also the flow of air, and more buttons around that to switch it on and off, auto and everything, and also the recirculation of air. And there are more buttons provided out here in the center console for the ventilated and the heated seats. So the driver and the passenger side seats are both the heated and the cooled seats, and the buttons are provided out here, as well as the button for the heated steering wheel that's been given out here, and for the passenger also. And in terms of the infotainment screen, so this is a 12.3-inch infotainment system provided on this Kona EV, and again, it's very similar to any other Hyundai's, the recent ones. So big widgets that you can customize and arrange them, and this is the inbuilt navigation system. Although there is a wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, you can use that too. Then the FM option, and then there is the battery option. Now here's where there are lots of options. So you can have the preconditioning that you can activate from here, and then shows you the electricity usage, where it's usually putting all that into climate, into electronics, because you haven't been driving. That's why this is a big percentage right now. Then the electricity use, and also the history, and then the you can set the charging also. So at certain point, if you have benefits like cheaper electricity, you can connect it, and then the car would charge during that time. AC charging settings up to 90%, 100%, how much, then the charging limits, and then you can see out here, if you set it at 100%, it shows 1 hour 14 minutes, fast charger 1 hour 20 minutes, range is 527. But if I keep it at 80%, which is what is the recommended one, so as to save the batteries and make them last longer, then it comes to around 409, which is usually the number, and then 467 at 90%. So yes, all these things are to be kept in mind if you have to charge this car. 100% again would take 4 hours 10 minutes, again depends on a lot of things. And then the electricity use, so the battery charge levels and everything. Then we go back, and then the detailed settings, the preconditioning and everything, all those settings, utility mode, smart regeneration, you want faster deceleration, normal, or smoother and smooth deceleration. So you can customize that also for using with the one pedal drive to customize that. Then the next option is the phone, voice memo, weather, phone projection. So in terms of the connectivity, you can connect to this infotainment screen using Bluetooth, USB, and there's wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, valet mode to lock some of the features. Then the detailed setup, vehicle, driver assistance, drive mode. There are like 4 different driving modes, going to come to that. Also climate, lights, door, digital keys, convenience, all of that. Then the digital keys, these are the same sort of options that you saw before. Then the navigation, and then the sound. So you get Bose surround sound system, which is again part of the ultimate package. Then device connections, user profile, voice recognition, screen layouts. Then the screen layout also has the split screen option. So if you are in like media option or the maps, it will show you the split screen option. Display, then the buttons and the cluster that you can change from here or also from the display itself. And then there is the blue link, and then next option is the general settings, system info, time, date, keyboard, units, media options, and reset. Then we come out, and then the next option is vehicle diagnostic, maintenance, HD radio, notifications, online manual. Then scroll down for quick control of these menu options, and then the guest mode if you want to create, reorder the menu options. All of that can be done from here. It's decently snappy, like like the other Hyundais and Kias also. Now in terms of the charging, so there are two type C USB ports and a 180 watt 12 volt power socket, and one of the USB ports can be converted into the connectivity options also. Pretty neat thing to do. And there is also a wireless charger provided out here. And for the rear passengers, there are two type C USB ports. Now there are also 4 different driving modes, and the dial is given out here in the center console. And in order to change them, just twist it, and then you can go from eco to normal to sport and the snow mode, although it's just a front wheel drive. So yeah, again the range also keeps changing, because in eco it reduces the power slightly, whereas in normal it gives you like almost all the power, whereas in the sport it actually consumes the maximum power. And then the snow and the sport is nearly identical. So yeah, again the range keeps getting affected with so many factors, which drive mode you are in, and also the air conditioning settings that you have put on. And there are also more shortcut buttons for controlling the infotainment screen: home, map, search, media, and everything, and also volume dial as well as a scroller dial that's been provided. Now in terms of the storage in the door cards, you can put easily 1.5 liter worth of bottle. There is this wireless charger, and there are also these 2 flexible cup holders, but you can even fold them and utilize this entire storage, or if you want them back, one of it or both of them, you can do that too. There is this storage in the back, which is an open one, and also this partition that can be removed too. And underneath the armrest, there is a small storage where you can put your wallet, and then this cutout out here in the dashboard where you can put your phones when they are charging, or just like that if you're the passenger wanting to keep the phone. There is also this glove box, slightly compensated because of the cutout out here, but nonetheless it's pretty neat option. Then there is the SOS and the assistant button, and also the panoramic sunroof that's been provided. It's already started raining now, so there are a few drops already falling here, so I'm going to just close that. But yes, even that's been provided, and it started raining if you notice. Yep, it's raining. Now in terms of the seats, so these are the leather seats, black color leather seats, and they are decently soft, I would say, especially considering the Hyundai and the Kia. I keep mentioning before they used to be hard, but now they are soft. But genuinely these are really impressive soft seats, good for long journeys also. And I'm sorry about all the noise, because the rain is now falling quite heavily, and yeah, as a result of that, yeah, it's making a lot of noise, and yeah, just bear with me. So in terms of the side support, there is good amount of that. The lower side, yeah, maybe a little bit extra that can be supported, but they are like long seats also, and decently broad too. And in terms of the under thigh support, there is good amount of that, especially for the driver side, because the seats can be the driver side key seat can be adjusted in terms of the angle that the lower side of the seat makes. So yeah, that option is also possible, but nonetheless good seats for long journeys also, and the headrest again, they are also on the softer side. Now in terms of the adjustability, so the driver side seat is 8-way electronically adjustable and 2-way lumbar adjustment, whereas the passenger side seat is just manually adjustable. Now I'm gonna be brave and I'm gonna head out and show you the rear seats. So let's go quickly, and oh dear, we have to put up the seats also, and let me jump inside. So we made it into the rear seats. Now the rear seats again are the same black color leather seats. They are perforated seats, as well as the front seats were also the perforated seats because they are the heated and the cooled seats, but not in the rear. They are just for the design purposes. Again, 3 headrests, and as I said, the middle headrest, which is a bit on the taller side, you might want to remove that, and then they are also on the softer side. The seats in the rear are quite broad also, and yeah, they are literally flat, and the bottom side is actually more like a bench type of setup, and also the floor that way isn't raised that much, and there is just slight angle to the bottom side of the seat. And to be honest, I am still quite impressed by the adjustment of these seats, the angle at which they are provided. Although the thing is that you cannot adjust the backrest, and they are slightly on the reclined side all the time. But the seating position, so there is much space to slide your legs under the seats because the floor is slightly raised up. But in terms of the knee room, so that's pretty impressive considering this is a compact SUV. The seats also have a bit of a curve so as to increase the leg room out here, and also the knee room. So there's almost more than 4 fingers worth of knee room out here. And in terms of the headroom, again, that's also quite impressive because almost 4 fingers worth of headroom that's also been provided. And in terms of the angle, so yeah, this just misses out slightly underneath my thigh, but still not bad because considering that they are nearly like flat types, the seat itself is quite flat that way. It's just a little bit of angle, so it's still giving me good amount of support. But again, 3 passengers are going to be a bit of a tight squeeze into the rear of this Kona, but 2 passengers can easily sit here, and the middle passenger temporarily, yes, can fit here because this seat is also quite the middle seat is also still soft enough, but the backrest is slightly on the firmer side, and that is to do because there are 2 cup holders that are given in this hand rest. And in terms of the tunnel out here, there's nothing because it's an EV, so it's literally flat, so you can easily sit into the middle and have that airiness out here around your legs. And there are also 2 air conditioning vents provided, so going to be easier to adjust into the rear, and then 2 USB ports, as well as this slot to put your phones or your wallets, and then this net storage behind the driver and the passenger side seat. And in terms of the door card quality in the rear, there is like plastic door cards now provided. Sorry, I can't open because it's like raining full on now, but on the side trays there's soft touch material where you're going to be resting hands. That's again soft touch material. Again, I wish that was slightly longer. Around the switches, normal plastic. In the door cards, you can put about 1 liter worth of bottle in the rear. That's about it. You can't really put bigger than that. But overall, even though this is an EV, but the seating position out here is actually pretty good. So you can easily fit 2 passengers into the rear and go along on like longer journeys or shorter journeys. But yeah, definitely it's going to be very comfortable in the rear of this new Kona EV. So this new Kona EV is powered by one electric motor which sits in the front and essentially giving it a front wheel drive setup, and that motor produces 201 horsepower and 188 pound-feet of torque, and there is no gearbox or anything. So yeah, it's straightforward, the power delivered to the wheels via single gear reduction system. But yeah, essentially you get power and torque straight instantly. Basically EVs are very torquey and then they just deliver 100%, and it's quite evident, and that's what makes them fun. But yes, in terms of the daily driving is what we are looking at. So the performance, as I mentioned, if you put it into eco mode, then the power is reduced, and also the whole response becomes very daily kind of usage where you won't be like that startled. But if I put this thing into sport, like instant, like it's, yeah, just the power delivery, wow, yeah, it can really just pick up speed. Yeah, that ways it's very powerful, especially for a small compact SUV, and considering that it weighs nearly 2.2 tons, and after that to be able to do this, it's pretty good. Now in terms of the efficiency, because that's exactly why you buy an EV. Now the claimed efficiency is 18.1 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers, whereas I have been managing on highways, and if I put it into eco mode, then between 12.5 to 12.8 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers. And on average, with a mix run of city, highways, everything, I've still been doing about 13.6 to 13.8 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers. Now that is pretty impressive, because if you divide it by 64.8 divided by that efficiency number, then you will get somewhere around 450 to 500 kilometers of range, and that's exactly what the car is right now delivering me. So as I mentioned, that it also depends on a lot of conditions like the weather, and it has been like somewhere around 23-25 degrees where the batteries actually love that temperature. So it's always been like that, and that's why it's giving the maximum sort of efficiency and the range. Because if it was winter, like in cold weather, it is estimated to give somewhere between 250 to 280 kilometers. So you can see like it can cut down by half the range depending on the how severe the weather is. So yeah, there are lots of conditions, as I mentioned, when you drive an EV, and you have to account for that. And in terms of the one pedal drive, because it also comes with the regenerative system, and that performs pretty good. I've figured out how to just use the one pedal drive, and right now if I leave the accelerator, it nearly comes to a stop, and then it will come to a complete stop like at the signal. So if you have that predictive driving, if you can understand, then you can just use just the single pedal and then not use the brake, and that way it puts back a lot of energy into the system, and I'm pretty sure that's how it is able to deliver more range to me as well. Now when we come to the suspensions, so the suspensions are on the softer and comfortable side, which is a good thing, because most of the EVs usually have like harder setups. That's always provided, but on this, yeah, it's a bearable one, and the ride quality actually isn't affected. In fact, it's very comfortable, and it hides the weight quite cleverly also, and it does not make you feel like you're driving a 2.2 tons of a car. So yeah, that way the suspension is done very well. It absorbs the bumps, and yeah, be ready for the next one, and also the deeper ones also, it's got a good amount of travel to it too. Now when we come to the steering, again, that's an electronic steering, and even though if you put it into sport mode, it does become slightly more firmer, but again, electronic steerings are meant to be a bit softer, and sometimes they lag the feedback, but again, it's pretty good weighted that ways, and yeah, for day-to-day driving, it's gonna be comfortable also. Now when we come to the brakes, so there are 4-disc brakes, and the performance is good, but yeah, it might feel a bit spongy sometimes, although I haven't been able to use it at all the times, the brake pedal, because I just rely on the one pedal. But yeah, when you try to push it, the pedal itself feels slightly softer, but yeah, it is progressive, while the braking action, yeah, that's pretty strong from these brakes also. Now when it comes to the noise and the vibrations, it's very important in an EV, because it's so quiet, so as to keep everything quieter on the inside, and it does manage to do that very well. So because these wheels are 17-inch, again, they also help absorb a lot of bumps and give you a softer, supple ride, as well as they're not very noisy also. And even the wind whooshing, that's surprisingly pretty quiet too. So yeah, overall, very well done. Some of the rattling that you're hearing is just from the child seat that I've installed in the car right now, and that's the rattling bit. Otherwise the car is actually pretty quiet. Now when you come to the safety system, so there are 6 airbags, 2 for the front driver and the passenger, 2 side airbags again for the driver and the passenger, and 2 curtain airbags in the pillars, child isofix points in both the rear seats, and a very good 360-degree camera system. Like the idea and also the clarity and the crispiness from that, and so many views that you can select: the front view and the side view, the rear view, and also the 360 view that you can select. So yeah, very good in terms of that. And then there is also the blind spot monitoring that's been provided, then the smart parking assist, and then the blind spot warning, and also the rear collision warning, the front collision warning, pedestrian warning, and the lane keep assist, lane departure warning. So many things. Tire pressure monitoring system, airbags, traction control system. So yeah, it's also loaded with all the safety systems. And bear in mind, this is just one trim, and it comes with all these safety systems also, and the 360-degree cameras that are also the part of the ultimate package. Now in terms of the pricing, so the preferred variant without the ultimate package comes in at 46,499 Canadian dollars, whereas with the ultimate package, this particular variant comes in at 51,549 Canadian dollars. You have to add taxes, then it comes somewhere around 53,500 Canadian dollars. But in order to understand an EV, so the basic purpose of an EV is the efficiency. That's what this car delivers for sure. At the same time, it also delivers all the tech and also the features as well as practicality, and on certain occasions is also fun to drive. If you want to hoon about for a little while, that's it, you can do that too. But yes, essentially that's what EVs are. And the whole idea that I think can work is, if you think of the EV as an option but not as a substitute, then it works. And also the fact that once you drive an EV, it helps reduce the pollution within the cities, and in a way that, if the pollution, yes, it does create, because obviously it's been powered by electricity that's been generated somewhere, maybe cleaner or maybe not, but all of that electricity is generated far away from the city, and then you are consuming that within the city, but you're not polluting it, so that the pollution, at least, that stays away from the city. But yeah, that's one idea. But definitely these sort of cars are fun to drive, and also, yeah, if you have a good setup of the charging infrastructure, you can, because yes, the charging infrastructure does need to catch up if the EVs are to be promoted aggressively. But yeah, if you have your own infrastructure, this is the sort of car to have, and maybe a second car as an option that you can definitely opt for. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to this channel by clicking that red subscription button. Leave all the notifications on. Also make sure to press the thumbs up button if you've liked this video. I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care, and drive safe.